Hey, feeling great. Already into week one here for the WSSEA League, and I'm excited. We've got two teams that we've seen quite a few times on stream before. Lake Stevens taking on Central Kitsap, and Lake Stevens, we talked about it kind of before we got going. They had a flawless, undefeated regular season in that previous season, a good postseason run as well, but it did stop just a bit short at third place. So they've got a couple returning members. I know Coach Woods has been out there hyping them up, so excited to see him back in action here today. Yeah, and we've got a moment to kind of get some information about the teams going prior to this as well. And Central Kitsap is, even though they went 6-1 last season, this is a fairly new roster, a fairly new team. So maybe still trying to get their footing in some of these early weeks. You talked about some of those preseason games that they've had as well. And so I'm just excited to be out here in the regular season and get it popping. Yes. Regular season greatness indeed. I mean, you talked about it. 6-1 for Kitsap, or Central Kitsap, excuse me, last season. 7-0 for Lake Stevens. That unfortunately, after today, they're going. At least one team is going to have a notch in that loss column. But again, Central Kitsap, a new roster, so just trying to get some of that footing, get some of that experience under their belt, and look to build forward. We've seen so many teams really grow throughout a regular season. For Lake Stevens, they're kind of looking to pick up where they left off and maybe carry it a little bit further this season. No worries. Want to give a huge shout out to Zotac Gaming here for supporting Scholastic Esports in Washington State. And you too can show your appreciation for Zotac Gaming by giving them a shout out on social media. So make sure you join their community on Discord, and don't forget to use the hashtag powered by Zotac or hashtag Zotac USA when you post, and let us maybe know who you think is going to win today's game. All right, we're gonna work on getting our man Tugboats Mike working up here for you again in just a few moments as we work on getting these players loaded into the lobby again. It is a best of 5 here today, so I like these little bit lengthier series. If you happen to suffer a loss early on, there's still plenty of time for you to make it up. So that's what we're going to see both of these teams about to go head-to-head here on the pitch. You can see that Central Kitsap High School, the top left there of your screen, is going to be in orange. Lake Stevens High School in that purple there as well. And so both of these teams have faced each other in the past. It was Lake Stevens that came out on top, but we'll see if maybe there's a wrench in the mix to be thrown here for Central Kitsap. This new roster looking to prove themselves here early in this season. If they could find a way to upset Lake Stevens in week 1, would be an astronomical feat for them as well. And, I've had the chance, I know Mr. Woods does some of the Lake Stevens streams sometimes himself, and I've had a chance to catch 1 or 2 of those as well. So you love to see everybody get involved out here and having some fun as we do take a quick look at the rosters from these two schools. And over on the Central Kitsap High School side that Tugboat had mentioned earlier, we've got Braden Kraft, 81, Ace, the real guy, Parzival, and, of course, that coach Flex Rifle on the other side of things, Lake Stevens. We talked about the coach, Mr. Wood, there, and often doing the streams himself. We've got I'm Nitrogen, Dark Mars, Aggro Fusion for your starting lineup, and Sigs there in the background as that alternative. Definitely a little bit of a deeper roster here for Lake Stevens. They got that sub should they need it, and we'll see how the Vikings are going to start off here in their regular season. We had Tugboat kind of giving us some info on that preseason mix there. And again, Lake Stevens, I think the only team they had lost to was that Kennedy Catholic, who got second last year. And only to be toppled by Tenino, who were the reigning champions of that previous season. So it's always exciting to see what players we've got returning, what new players there are as well, and exactly how far they're going to go in this season. So Lake Stevens got third last year, hoping to reach that first place position this year, but it does look like we are getting the cars loaded onto the pitch here. We should be bringing you the action here shortly. I see the purple cars out on the battlefield here. I'm just needing to get Central Kitsap in, and I'm looking for which team is going to be that more aggressive team here. And so a lot of times those teams that use good boost management, you want to be able to control that boost, find the spacing on the field, get up, challenge that ball early, and not allow your opponents to have too much retail. Central Kitsap on the kickoff here, a bit of a back pedal as Braden will scoop up the 100 in the corner. It's already a shot toward goal from Lake Stevens, but the play is well read here from Central Kitsap. They find the stop. Unfortunately, on the back pedal, Nitrogen picks the pocket and drops it into the back of the net here. Gonna take another look. It was off an assist from Agro, but Nitro, nothing too fancy, just pops it in toward the net. The defense maybe overextending on that initial play just a little bit here, so we'll see if they can iron out those details. It is only week one, game one. Some of those early game jitters can get you sometimes, but Nitrogen, Agro Fusion picking up right where they left off. The assist off the kickoff, Nitro able to follow him up closely here. It was a good attempt from Parsival. You see Parsival in that goal position, trying to get up into the air and make a stop, which is exactly what you want to see from your defenders. Unfortunately, just not quite able to get there in time. Lake Stevens temporarily be enjoying that 2-point cushion as it's a nice save here from Ace. On the side of Central Kitsap, they get a bit of a half clear, but not able to get out of their zone yet, and Nitrogen is on fire at the moment. He's able to dribble this one in. We take another look here, pops it up, great control, gets up into the air, and just powers it into the back of the net. Lake Stevens now up by 3, and we might have the legendary Tugboat back with us here.
I hope so. Mic check, 1-2 out here. Man, oh man, looks like I missed a triplet of scoring here. Lake Stevens with some early dominance, it seems, hot sauce.
Yeah, they've had a couple of nice kickoff starts here, and we've seen a couple nice saves from Central Kitsap, but now trying to find something in transition down in that field there. So we'll see if they can get some offensive opportunities. Right now, Lake Stevens just doing a great job of controlling the ball. It's been mostly Nitro with the scores, but Agro's going to sneak one in here.
Yeah, so 59 seconds, 4 scores. It's not happened 7 years ago. Agro Fusion just walks the dog all the way inside for Lake Stevens' 4th. We talked a little bit about it in the pre-show there, the preseason. Here, just a little bit better for Lake Stevens. Purple 1-0. That was against Mount Lake Terrace. And that was, of course, the only match they played. They did take it, and it was a 3-0 victory. Ball comes out dangerously across the middle. Going to be able to get that one foisted away for now.
Yeah, and again, we got to remember that this Central Kitsap team is a new team. It's not the same roster that we saw at 6-1 last year. So they've got some room to work on here, just some of those basic rotations and things like that. But I mean, they're putting up a good fight right now against Lake Stevens. Obviously, those first few minutes were a bit rough, but it seems like they're getting a little bit more comfortable into their play style. And now they've got to deal with a flip reset from Agro Fusion. Nitrogen will finish it off, and really showing some of those teamwork skills here from Lake Stevens.
Really has. This is Agro up against the back wall. This is never really an honest shot attempt. This is a pass down low, right to the middle into the heart of Central Kitsap. 5 scores so far, about 100 seconds eclipsed.
Well, 5 up on the board here. Nitrogen will already scoop this one and head to the sky, maybe looking for a pass play, but a good read here from Central Kitsap. Another nice defensive stop, but another shot opportunity, and Lake Stevens is just being that relentless firing squad. They're not giving Central Kitsap any time to kind of regroup and take a deep breath or reset. It's this high-paced energy that has allowed them to score and score in bunches.
Yeah, they really have. 6 so far. Honestly, Central Kitsap just hasn't really gotten the opportunity to even possess the ball in the opponent's side of this third for a very long time. Attempted pass play, broken up easily. One player back here, that's from the corner and outside. Actually nicked to the top bar there, hot sauce.
Yeah, sometimes that MVP can be that most valuable post, and right now they're hanging on by a thread. We're not quite to the halfway point. Still plenty of time for Central Kitsap. It was a nice shot from Ace here on target, but Lake Stevens able to step up and find that stop once more, looking for a counterattack of their own.
Yes, they are. Rounding round, not going to find it. An attempted pass here, and Lake Stevens player Nitrogen actually sends us back towards their own side. Aggro Fusion, no sweat, no worries. Two different Central Kitsap players have an honest shot attempt at that ball there, Hot Sauce. Not going to be able to get inside. Some defense showing up from Central Kitsap now, though.
Yeah, I mean, they've had a lot of great stops and a lot of nice saves as well. It's just that Lake Stevens has been relentless, and they haven't had as many opportunities on that attacking side as they would have liked. But they're doing a good job of keeping that poise here on that defensive side. They've just got to find a way to maybe get something in transition here. But as we always say, it's always easier said than done when we're sitting up here in the comforts of our chairs.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? My Rocket League times probably kind of passed me by as far as peaks. Now more valleys, right? Isn't that what they say?
Yeah. It happens to the best of us, but they are looking to go all peaks here. Lake Stevens up by 6, and Aggro and them going around with the idea of another goal here. They've had a lot of great pass plays. This time, Nitrogen looking to drop it down in front of the net, and guess who's there? Aggro Fusion, tag team, back again. Whoop, there it is.
Yeah, nicely done. Aggro Fusion, 6 shot attempts, 3 assists, and 3 goals. Some fantastic stuff. You know, a hat trick when you talk about assists, hat trick when you talk about scoring themselves. 7-0 as of right now, 90 seconds to go. The best news for Central Kitsap in this game, number one, is that this is a best of 5 here, Hot Sauce. I think we broached that topic, but yes, no one's going to get dusted out from this first regular season game in just the first of possibly 5. Well, Aggro Fusion putting on a clinic. 7 shots attempted on 4 goals. That's a Texas hat trick.
Yeah, you know, it's week 1, it's game 1. There's so much Rocket League to be played here. And so for Central Kitsap, you just have to take that deep breath and look for these minor moments. Look to try and find some demos to open up that field. Look to find a goal and get on the board and then build off of that. So that's what we'll be looking for here. Lake Stevens, though, continues this onslaught of pressure. It's been shot after shot. Central Kitsap, another nice defensive save, but Lake Stevens continues to apply this pressure.
Yes, they really do. And there's another one. Nitrogen this time down low. 9 shots, 5 goals there for that player. I have to agree with your logic/strategy suggestion, right? At the end of the day, they cannot shoot the ball when they're simply not on the virtual pitch for a little while. Get some demo game going. Get little bumps. Get physical with this game. Shake that tree and just see what comes out, Hot Sauce.
Yeah, absolutely. And as new players, you know, you always want to stop back and check the VOD, go over the VOD, review it a little bit with your teammates, dissect plays, where it could have went wrong, what maybe we could have done better. And I think that's where that learning process really begins. We always say there's no losers when we're out there learning. And so a lot to be had here for Central Kitsap is I feel like even in this last 5 minutes here, or these last couple minutes of this game, we've seen that defensive begin to step it up as well. And so they are making some progress here, and I expect to see them get better with each game as we go on here.
Yeah, a little bit of a double commit right there for Central Kitsap. Both players kind of going for this ball. I think Ace might have even ran into the teammate a little bit. So, yeah, plenty to look at upon review with the VOD review and whatnot. And again, they'll have a clean slate in about 23 seconds from right now. Lake Stevens going to win this off a kickoff again. Maybe putting this one back down, still working on their passing plays. It's real-life passing play, opportunity to practice that. So, hey, why not if you're Lake Stevens?
Yeah, you know, and it always takes a little time to build that team chemistry. And so, you know, we might have seen some Central Kitsap players bumping into each other a little bit, but as time goes on, they're going to learn to communicate with each other a little better. And that's another great thing about Rocket League and these teams is we're working on communication, other real life skills that they're going to be able to use. And so we just have to work on some of those communications, some of those rotations. Again, you look, 6 saves from Ace alone. The defensive side has really stepped it up. Now for Central Kitsap, it's just about how can we get down the field and look to score a little bit because, 20 shots between Nitrogen and Aggro Fusion alone is a monstrous feat in its own.
Yeah, that's entirely fair. Entirely fair. Was that 20 shots between the two? Unfortunately, Central Kitsap doesn't really put up anything offensively there. 6-2, so a good defensive effort there from Ace to try and stop that bleeding. They'll have an opportunity here in game number 2 to get something back and put a little bit of something on the board.
That's what we're looking for here in game 2. You got to knock off that dust a little bit. You get some experience under your belt as a new team. And I always say you look for some of those mini quests, right? We don't go for that big win just yet. We're looking for some of those side quests. Look to find some demos, whether it's alleviate the pressure on defense or opening up the field on offense, and then just trying to find a goal here. It starts with one goal at a time, and with that, you could bring it back one game at a time. So Central Kitsap will have an opportunity here in game number 2. It is a best of 5, so there's some more Rocket League to be had. A kickoff in front of us, and this one going to go the way of Lake Stevens.
Dark Mars just a little bit too slow to get to this one. Nobody's really in position to make a play onto this ball, and so Lake Stevens just decides to get physical with it. Take out the defender right there, and it's going to work as Nitrogen does pick this one up, takes it to the skies. That was way too early for the offensive assist, and now Lake Stevens going to be the ones really just completely tripling up on that side of the board. Aggro Fusion, going to be able to get this one up and over the defender.
Yeah, Lake Stevens almost fighting each other for an opportunity to take a shot there, as we do see them coagulate together in that corner. And it's one of those things that if it doesn't go their way, it could backfire. It leaves an open net in the backfield. Maybe a big booming clear from Central Kitsap could stop it, and another goal from Nitrogen. But I love what I see from Central Kitsap here. We haven't seen this too much yet. Now we see Parsival getting up into the air, looking to challenge that ball. Even though he doesn't get there in time, this is exactly what you want to see from your players. This is how you get better. You get more comfortable having that aerial control through that sky. And so, again, I love what I'm seeing from Central Kitsap, starting to pick it up. Now just looking for that first goal.
Yeah, you have to get, the classic, like you miss 100% of the shots that you do not take. Well, that's going to be another defensive effort right there. They go up for it, doesn't quite get it, and another one from Aggro Fusion after they just take to the skies. Yeah, it just seems like the aerial attack right here, that air raid for Lake Stevens, seeming to find pay dirt almost every time they chuck it up.
Yeah, I mean, this Lake Stevens squad has been around for a few seasons together and has been a dominating team for the last few seasons as well. And so I think, this is going to be one of the toughest matchups for Central Kitsap. And to have it in week 1 can be tough, but honestly, I think a lot of times if you're going to lose, the best time is in those first couple weeks, because then you get to build as a team. You then get to go on a winning streak throughout the rest of the season and look to power forward for that postseason. But Aggro Fusion, Lake Stevens showing that they're very comfortable, not only on the ground, but through the sky as well.
It's true. It's true. I mean, the flip reset here obviously just makes it so much harder to predict. And I have to agree with what you said about playing this Lake Stevens squad. This is the one team that Central Kitsap lost to last season, so the writing's already on the wall a little bit, Hot Sauce. If there's one team they really, really want to take it to, it would be this squad. But at the same time, new squad, week numero uno, it's tough to have all of the pieces get put together like right off the bat, as well. Dark Mars going to be coming in to get involved for their first goal, I believe, of these first 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes these students come in, they're fresh, they're young, and they haven't really participated in an esports or an extracurricular activity like this. So for some of these students, it might be one of their first few times out on the field playing Rocket League. The fact that they're willing to go out there, have some fun, and get competitive a little bit, I think speaks volumes for them. So you'll love to see it. Central Kitsap, unfortunately, going to give up another goal here, but I love the fact that we see them not giving up. They have that never say never attitude, and even though the game's not going their way, they're continuing to drive and attack the ball and still trying to make something to happen. You absolutely love to see it.
Oh yeah. No give up in the squad, playing until the whistle, whatever platitude, whatever saying you want to insert right here. It's all true. And again, getting better here, the name of the game. Talk about getting better. Ace, star player of the defense, at least side of the ball from game number 1 for Central Kitsap, coming up to it, challenging and getting it, going for it, another block. Now they just need to tighten up the rotations a little bit more and then focus on getting this one fully cleared out to like half pitch or more.
Yeah, and I flash back to game one where we didn't really see Central Kitsap getting up in the air or challenging the ball much. Now we see all of the players trying to fly through the air and find these stops. And again, I think it's just a little bit of that comfortability. As you play more games, especially as a team, you begin to build that team synergy, and eventually things will start to click. And it was a nasty shot from Lake Stevens. There was a ton of power on that. The Central Kitsap coming up with another big save.
Right place, right time, and that's just kind of how you adapt as a Rocket League player, not just on the day and not just like skill-wise, like in general, but also specifically against individual teams. It's been some solid defensive efforts right now that have really stopped that bleeding. I mean, this was a little bit more of a one-sided deficit in game number one at this point, and now an offensive shot opportunity tries to come from the top. I get what they're trying to do, Braden Kraft was trying to hit this ball, and so it bounces like up and kind of behind them but over them ultimately. And another, wow, so Aggro Fusion comes up but does get challenged. This one almost got foisted off to the left side. Too bad of an angle, Hot Sauce.
Yeah, we didn't see too many shot attempts from Central Kitsap in the last one. We see a nice attempt there. Unfortunately, it doesn't go their way, and Lake Stevens is able to find that counterattack downfield. So another commanding lead here for Lake Stevens, a little more than halfway through this one, but Central Kitsap continues to pick up the pace here. Unfortunately, maybe a bit of a mishap on that one, and that's okay. Those things do happen from time to time.
Yeah, they do. Again, still tried for a ball, maybe a little bit of a lack of communication between Ace and teammate Parsival right there. Player back, trying to go, either goes forward and gets like the big clear, or player in forward just hits against backboard, tries to get to the corner, buy that team a little bit of time, and that's just perfectly slotted. There was no shot the defender had at touching that one.
Yeah, it's a funky angle off the kickoff, and Aggro is just right there, well read, a nice touch toward the net, and again, it's just difficult to deal with, and especially when that defender is on that close side of the post. Typically, when you're defending, you want to rotate to the far side of the post and then look to work toward that ball. So, again, just some minor things to work on, but Central Kitsap, it continues to show signs of life here. They continue to fight. Unfortunately, they back and forth, toying with the heartstrings. I thought they were going to be able to keep it out, but Lake Stevens, they are relentless on their attack.
Yeah, so it seems like Lake Stevens has had a few more offensive opportunities because there's been less challenging towards the middle of the pitch. Given that, we all know where scoring happens. It happens in the goal and in the goal, in the net and whatnot, right? So Central Kitsap kind of centralizing their time and attention. There you go. That Ace playing that back position, that'd have been a goal otherwise.
Certainly has been a star goalie. We've seen at least one shot attempt here from Central Kitsap as well that we didn't see in game one. So trying to make some progress on the offensive side as well. Another nasty save comes in, but for Lake Stevens, it's shot after shot. It's only a matter of time. They're able to find the back of the net once more, and now 11-0, already toppling that first game we saw in double digit.
Yeah, an ace right there. Quarter of a turn, maybe the eighth of a turn farther, right? Like just a tiny millisecond before, and they would have had a decent defensive opportunity onto that ball. Not going to matter ultimately, right? 11-0 deficit as of right now is not getting surmounted in about a minute and 15 seconds, but still, just going back to the central theme of what Hot Sauce and I have been talking about, folks, and that is improvement, and Central Kitsap has shown that so far. Lake Stevens, has also shown some fantastic passing prowess.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they've really showcased a lot of the mechanical ability from the ground to the sky, the passes, the give and goes, and just the aerial control alone. But, I mean, again, we think back, it's a Lake Stevens team that has played together for a while. They've had undefeated seasons. They've been in the top 3 in the championship. And so this is a comfortable place for them. And for Central Kitsap, it is a brand new team, a new roster out there, still finding their footing, building that team chemistry, and finding exactly where everybody fits in that role. So it's going to take a few weeks to kind of get that under their belt and get comfortable. And, it's tough that they have such a tough matchup in week one, but it's also a good thing. I mean, there's a lot that you can take away from a game like this. It's tough to take this beating on the chin sometimes, but when you look back, you do that VOD review, there is a lot that can be taken away.
It's what we always say, right? You can always learn a lot more from a loss than like a blowout win, right? This is Lake Stevens executing essentially the same game plan over and over again. Now it's working. There's no reason for them to try and do anything else, but if there's a lot to be learned and how not to allow this to happen again, Central Kitsap is learning the book right now.
Yeah, learning the book indeed. And honestly, you can go back and maybe take some plays away from your opponents as well and see how they spread the field, the give and go pass plays down, when to maybe step out of that goal and challenge a ball, those rotations with the goalie, because a lot of times when teams are new, they have a designated goalie or a person that stays back. But as you get more comfortable, you want everybody rotating forward. When someone's out of boost, they rotate back to the far post, collect up, and allow other teammates to press forward. So all of those rotations and things will come in due time.
Tapping pass down bottom, but it's just a flying Lake Stevens squad that gets under it. Looks like we had an offensive opportunity here for Central Kitsap. Wayward ball here, maybe. Now, if they're going to put a point on the board, it looks like it's going to have to happen in game numero tres. Now, again, this game is not over with. Well, two things are true, right? This game is not over with. Also, Central Kitsap has been outscored 25-0 in the first two games. So, take both of those things for what you will, folks.
Yeah, it's, again, it's just a tough matchup for them in week one, but you got to give them credit. They continue to fight out here. They continue to challenge every ball regardless of the outcome. And losing like that can be tough. But the fact that they have such great mental fortitude, I think, speaks volumes for this Central Kitsap team. It was a team that didn't have any shots on target in game one. They find 2 shots here. Ace still has a ton of saves. The rest of the crew finds a couple saves as well. And again, I think that's a lot of great points to take away, especially when you're a new roster going up against a team that has played together a lot, has been in championships, you know what I mean? And so it's a big ask of this new squad, but the fact that they're coming out here and giving it a great shot, I think, again, speaks volumes for them.
No, you're right. You're right. What the simple fact is this, folks. One of these squads has played on the lights and sounds of postseason pressure, everything else like that, taking greatness almost the full distance. The other one of these squads is playing what could very well be their first match, like league game, best of 5 that is, together like ever, right? So individual talent can only take you so far, but really game mechanics in the great game of Rocket League is what's going to happen. And when we talk about improvement, like from 0-0-1 of game number 1, right? When we talk about improvement, you'd have to just talk about Central Kitsap, right? Because they didn't look anywhere near as coordinated as they are now. They didn't have anywhere near as many defensive, like, solid stops as they did in game number 1 than they did last.
Yeah, and as fun as it is to watch incredibly talented teams like Lake Stevens, I think it's equally as fun to watch teams like Central Kitsap that are very new, and because you usually see a lot of growth. It doesn't come until about that 3rd or 4th week in the season, but the growth tends to be exponential. And so I think teams like that are really fun to watch because you get to see just how far they come throughout the regular season and how much they grow as a squad. But Lake Stevens is not going easy at all, and I think that's going to do Central Kitsap justice in the long run as well. You don't want people to take it easy on you. You're going to learn a lot from tough opponents. And so that's what we see here. Central Kitsap having to deal with that. Lake Stevens up 2-0 early in game number 3.
And they send 2 on the offensive attempt right off a kickoff there. Not against it. I mean, they took on possession for a while. That, of course, is the bad side of that. You send 2. If you can even get 1 back in time right here, then that's good, but they don't get either of them back, and then there's just a whiff with the 1 defender back right there. Braden having a decent opportunity to try and hit this against backboard and then foist it back out, right? But then another Lake Stevens player is just going to pick this one up. So it's all about rotations here. I think Central Kitsap might just be learning that the rough and tumble way a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Parsifal going to take it.
Yeah, and that ball took a bit of a funky bounce in the corner. It looks easier when you're out here watching, but when the car is going at 80+ miles an hour, the ball also going that fast, sometimes it can be hard to judge that distance. But Lake Stevens not having too many issues with that just yet. They've found 4 goals here in game 3. It doesn't look like they're slowing down anytime soon, but I am still hoping for that Central Kitsap goal to come on through.
Oh yeah, just turn that donut into a breadstick. That's what we say, right? Pass outside. It's going to be punished. Agro Fusion punished for their actions. Little demo action right there. Right in front of this net. Oh, just fighting over the scrum. That's just a tipper inside. No, it hits the outside post and is not good. Nitrogen hits their teammate. I can see what they were trying to do. They're trying to get the nose right onto that corner and send this one straight on in from the sky. Aggro Fusion finds it again. 6 shots, 5 goals. All of Lake Stevens' offense thus far. Now, if we continue kind of talking about strategies here a little bit, it has been Aggro Fusion almost exclusively on the offensive side of this ball. At a certain point, I mean, we've seen some more demos here in game number 3. At what point does it just send all demo this Aggro Fusion player as often as you can, right? Like, just spend half their time in the respawn room, right?
I'm a big fan of it. You know, if I need a little bit of extra help, I look to demo people away because, like I said, not only does it create some space on the offense as Nitro will score another one, but it can alleviate some of that pressure on defense. And if you continuously demo someone over and over, it can also frustrate that player, maybe take them out of their comfort zone, of out of their play style as well. So it's definitely a great tool to utilize in the kit here and something I hope to see a little more of.
Yeah, a mental tool, right? Kind of getting into the minds of your opponent, right? It really, really can help. And also the previous one, yeah, technically an own goal, but this goal was going in anyway. And again, miss shots, or miss 100% shots, yada, yada, right? Got to go for that one. Got to at least try for it because it was going in regardless. Dark Mars trying to kind of escort this ball down. I think they might have been going for that kind of fullback position, right? Trying to hit players out as they come into this one to allow shots from the teammates in Central Kitsap. Bites on this one. Lake Stevens, okay, so changing up their game plan just a little bit, right? They kind of let this wait in the wings and let Lake Stevens players get into position. Braden and the rest of Central Kitsap don't need to be watching. Well, Braden needs to be watching the wall, of course, but the other 2 Central Kitsap players need to be watching whoever that is across the middle. This time it was going to be Aggro Fusion, I believe, for their 7th across the middle, because you know that's where it's going to be coming from, right?
Yeah, if they're not attacking directly on, it's these passes as well. But Aggro Fusion this time will do it through the sky. We get to take another look on the replay. I think there was at least one flip reset in there as we get to see live on the screen. And again, it just goes to show you how long some of these players have been playing. They make it look effortless, but that is a very difficult thing to do. You have to get all 4 tires on the ball to be able to jump again. And so they make it look easy, but I assure you, it's not.
Oh, it is not. Oh, it is not. Just briefly check in. Yeah, 567 hours on Steam. Probably twice that on console for me, folks. I have gotten 2 flip resets in my life, and both of them were accidents. Aggro Fusion putting in another one right here. 9-0 as of right now, just a little bit past halftime. But yeah, like, and this is me actively trying as well. You know, tutorials, knowing that, okay, I do this, all 4 onto the ball midair.
Yes.
That means I get to jump again. Yeah, it's happened twice, and neither time I was really expecting it. The first time it literally happened, I was like, oh my god, it just happened, and I didn't even hit the ball again. The second time I did, but it didn't even like really matter. The ball was going in regardless. So, you know, for however many shot attempts you get, and you know, what is that, 2,200 hours of Rocket League? It has happened by accident twice. So.
I won't even tell how many hours I've got in many different games because I want people to think that I still have a life, but way too many hours, and I still struggle with the flip reset myself a little bit. But Lake Stevens, they've shown it through the ground, through the sky, everywhere here in this series. Central Kitsap has been making some subtle progress throughout this one in this tough matchup. They've gotten a couple shot opportunities throughout the series as well, but still searching for that first goal. Only 90 seconds left to find it here, though.
Yep. Time. Sands in an hourglass, folks. That is what Central Kitsap is playing against right now, as another opportunity laid waste against Central Kitsap here. There's Lake Stevens and Nitrogen getting involved into the pass, or into the scoring section of this game. Aggro Fusion on the assist.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why Lake Stevens is such a dangerous team. They've been together for so long. The communication is there, but they almost know where each other is going to be. We've seen so many great passing plays from everybody on this squad, and already on the attack yet again. They pressure it to the middle, into the corner, a nice cross in front of the net, and the team is always there to capitalize. It kind of goes back to some of those rotations, those basic fundamentals that we talked about, and they certainly do go a long way.
They really do. None of these teams need to go like back to the fundamentals or basics or anything else like this, because like mechanics-wise, Central Kitsap has mostly got this down. Maybe a little bit of aerial work, of course, but the vast majority of this, I mean, just like in all relationships, right? Communication, communication, communication. Coordination is bred naturally out of communication, and once you perfect your communication, the coordination part of it, again, doesn't really require active verbalizing of your feelings and what's going on, right? You get a feel for what your opponents are going to be doing, and the affirmation I'm going for ball, you need to sit back, your second rotation, you need to go all the way back to defend against goal and all that sort of stuff just becomes second nature.
It does. You're right. After you do it for so long, it does become second nature, and so that's kind of what it is for Lake Stevens and what Central Kitsap will build toward throughout the regular season here. It's another beautiful save from Braden Kraft as Lake Stevens continues an onslaught of shots. Central Kitsap was able to keep it out for a little while, but that moment is gone. Lake Stevens will find their 12, and there's just 23 seconds left here in this series.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Another double-digit performance here from Lake Stevens. They got it barely with 10 in the first, 15 in the second, and they're staring down the barrel of a dozen at least here in game number 3. Central Kitsap got a couple of shot opportunities there in game number 2. Had a couple here in game number 3. Just didn't really unfold their way so far. On board with Parsifal right now as they're trying to bring it back down to the corner. A save to their credit so far, Hot Sauce.
Well, just about 8 seconds. They're going to find another goal, but honestly, I'm going to have my eye on Central Kitsap for the entirety of this one. I talked about how fun it is to watch really good teams, but I just really enjoy something about a brand new team trying to find their way, and you get to see that grow throughout the regular season. Like I said, it's usually exponential, and so it's fun to see these students, these players grow together as a team, and so I hope to see them back on stream here again, but I definitely will keep my eye on Central Kitsap moving forward because I'm looking for that progress throughout the regular season.
Yeah, you got to. 13-0 final score here in a 3-0 sweep of Central Kitsap by Lake Stevens. We talked about it during games, repeated here afterwards. The lessons to be learned here from Central Kitsap, most of them just having to do with that quintessential act of communicating with those who are important to us. Plenty of opportunity after this one as well within the regular season. And again, fret not if you're a fan of Central Kitsap. The regular season determines postseason seeding. So even if, unfortunately, this would be something we see maybe again later on in the season, it's not going to affect Central Kitsap's ability to go forth in that postseason. It'll just affect their seeding in that postseason as well. Again, I'm talking about postseason. That's 3 months away from where we're at right now. Hot Sauce.
And I've always said it, especially for me, if I've been on a team, if I'm ever looking to suffer defeat, I prefer it to be in those first couple weeks when I'm still getting my footing, I'm still building that team synergy, because once you go on that win streak later in the season, it really allows your team to propel themselves forward. So Central Kitsap, I think, should really hold their heads high. They came out here and played against a team that is a very tough team, that has played together a bunch before, that has been in the top 3 in the championship. And so for a new team, it's tough to deal with. I really give them high credit for coming out there and giving it all, even if it didn't go their way today. So I tip my hats to Central Kitsap. Unfortunately, there can only be one winner. So we give the big GGs to Lake Stevens, Nitrogen, Dark Mars, Agrofusion, and of course, Coach Mr. Woods. And a job well done here today. They've got a great program over there. Again, I've watched a couple of their streams, and it's always a fun time with Mr. Woods.
It really is. Really is. I want to give a big shout out to Central Kitsap as well. Parsifal, Braden Kraft, Ace the Real Guy, and GM/Coach Flex Rifle. I want to also give a huge shout out to Landfest, one of the organizations that make these broadcasts possible. Yes, this broadcast fuels Landfest Scholastic Esports program, a program that supports this league and many, many others. Many others, folks. Since launching, Landfest has delivered over 300 broadcasts to Scholastic leagues in Washington and Indiana State. We provide these broadcasts free of charge to the leagues, schools, and teams. Those are the players that we cover. Now, your generous donations can make broadcasts just like this one possible. Every $200 in raised funds operating every $200 raised funds the operating costs for one regular season broadcast. Had to slow that one down, Hot Sauce. It was going too fast.
It's almost a tongue twister.
If you appreciate our work, folks, you can go ahead and scan that QR code and donate whatever you'd like to today. Big shout out to Landfest. Appreciate them. I also want to give a shout out to some of the individuals that you do not see on your screen right now, or you didn't see on your screen 10 seconds ago, and that is Connie, that is Taylor, and that is Jaden. Yes, basically, if you're working on this and you're not featured right now, FBI Tugboat or Hot Sauce, we appreciate you and making these jobs as broadcasters that much easier, right? So very much appreciate that. Hot Sauce, I believe we have, yes, a little more esports action this week, right?
Yeah, we got some Valorant coming up tomorrow at the same time, 4 p.m. Pacific. I'll be back here for some Valorant with my man D-Lo as well. And As Tugboat said, we just appreciate everybody hanging out with us in chat, from the parents to the teachers to the students. We appreciate every one of you for showing up, showing out, and showing that support. So that being said, that is going to be all for us here today. Make sure you hit that follow button down below. We expect to see you back here tomorrow at the same time. My name is Hot Sauce. The legend, my digital right, is FBI Tugboat. You guys have been beautiful. Take care and enjoy the rest of your evening.